I love mushroom with cheese. I'm trying to learn about keto diet, ketogenic, you know. MCT oil, scrambled eggs, salad with onions, cucumber, tomato, and cheese. And this is courgette. And I discovered Samir and Colin on YouTube, and I'm fascinated by them because these guys are interviewing creators. Like, check this out, Graham Stephan.
Putting out 3 YouTube videos a week on the main channel without missing a single upload and getting out an entire program in 1 month.
Are you editing all of this?
Yeah.
So what's interesting is we did a tweet where we asked people questions to ask you.
Yeah.
One of the most popular questions was like, what does your team look like? And Colin and I have seen what your team looks like. But I think that'd be an interesting, you put out a video almost every day, right? On YouTube?
Yes.
Across 3 different channels.
Right. So that was entirely...
Unbelievable, 1 video every single day, motherfucker. Oh my god. Look at that.
most part until I think it was April 2020 where Jack came on. But prior to then, I would say pretty much all of it was just me. The 3 videos on the main channel have still just been me. So I edit those videos, I script them, film them. So I keep the main channel to myself. Jack and I...
self-timer your thumbnail photos?
No, so what I do is like I'll just record and I'll make like...
You'll do the thumbnail faces. There they are.
I do that and then I just screenshot it.
Here's
and then I'll go on Photoshop. And recently Jack and I have been like getting really into like titles and thumbnails, so we'll go back and forth on this. Some of these titles and thumbnails he'll come up with. Because we just get like a different perspective sometimes. Like sometimes I'm so focused in the video that you can't think too abstract, but he's coming in just not having worked 10 hours on creating this video, so it's really easy for him to sometimes say, what about a thumbnail like this? And then we'll go back and forth, and usually after like an hour of discussion we'll be like, that's it. That's perfect.
How much of that...
1 hour of discussion for choosing which thumbnail. Oh my god, my god, my god, oh my god, I will never succeed as a YouTuber, that's for sure. I mean, look at these guys, this is fucking amazing.
We get a little bit deeper into YouTube and like thinking about YouTube as a, you know, analytics and algorithm. Click-through rate is super important. Now, when you're talking about Craigslist, you know, earlier in the conversation, you're also talking about click-through rate, essentially, right? And conversion. So, do you track, when you look at titles and thumbnails, are you tracking click-through rate? What type of metrics?
Everything. So, let me answer the other question. As far as my team, it's entirely me, I would say, on the main channel. Jack edits all the videos in the second channel, and Jack is the one who coordinates the podcast. So, main channel, I would say, is just me. Jack and I coordinate on titles and thumbnails. I do the title thumbnail, but it's just a big brainstorm. I do all the thumbnails but then Jack is editing, second channel podcast. But other than that, just me.
I mean, even 2 people sounds very low to me.
People are
how many
constantly
channels
surprised,
how much content you put out.
And I was doing what Jack and I are doing now. Like I did that for the first 3 years. It was just me while working full-time as a real estate agent. But well, I guess I didn't do much I just had so much fun like doing what I was doing, like making YouTube videos that
See, that's so important. Like, he had so much fun doing it that it didn't feel like work. However, if he was to outsource freelancer editing and other stuff like a virtual assistant from Upwork or Fiverr.com, you know, like Ali Abdal did, maybe he could be happier or make more videos or higher quality videos, I don't know. But Graham didn't.
For me to start, like you start at 7, you finish at 2. Or you start at 8, you finish at 2, but I loved it. Like it's just fun. Like I just be in bed, like 1 a.m. just like editing a video or trying to plan something out. I just have fun with it.
Do you anticipate getting an editor to help you on the main channel, or do you think that that is something that needs to be you?
I think it needs to be me. I won't say I won't ever get an editor on the main channel, but I feel like that's what makes it like homey, if that makes sense. It's just, I'm making videos about like how to make money and stuff like that. Sometimes it has that weird sort of like salesy vibe to it. I don't ever want to get it to be, I think just I want to still be that same guy who's just like in the garage making videos about money and stocks and real estate and just editing them myself. And nothing really fundamentally has changed about the process. It's just now I have more people watching, but I've tried to keep the videos as consistent as possible.
Yeah.
Do you feel like you have a time limit on how long, though, you'll keep editing? Or is that something where you think maybe 20 years out I'll still be editing and that's fine?
Maybe. I don't know. The second channel started making sense because what happened with the second channel was I was putting so much more time into the main channel that the second channel began suffering because I'd be like, I gotta get this video out by 9 a.m. It's 6 right now. I just gotta slap this thing together. And that's when I think those videos started suffering because I was not putting in the time that I should have on those reaction videos. And I was just basically just zoning out, slapping it together, throwing it up. But when Jack stepped in and he was really able to spend like 6 hours editing this video and like really dedicate time to it, it made a huge difference.
Wow.
So if it ever gets to the point where the main channel starts suffering because I just gotta slap something together, then at that point I would. But a lot of my videos too is like, I need to get them out as soon as possible. And especially if they're relevant, so like, it makes it sense that like, I'm there as soon as I film, upload it, and I'm like editing minutes later.
How do you come up with the ideas? I think that, like, take us through that
terrible.
process. Is that, because like, one thing I think that's interesting is idea generation, because of how much has to do with title and thumbnail, because of how much has to do with like what people are going to click on, like coming up with the idea, once you have the editing process down, is actually the harder part.
I agree.
Right? Like the scripting and the idea generation is what we spend tons of time on, because the editing, like, it's hard and it's time consuming.
Yeah.
But it's a lot easier if you have the right idea.
Yeah, I would say the hardest part for me is picking a topic and a title. And I first start out with the topic and title. Like if I can't get a good title for a video, I don't make the video. So I first will think of what title can I use for this. And once I get a topic, I know I can script it. It's just as long as I have that concentration and focus. As long as I just, everything on Do Not Disturb, I'm gonna be like either out in the backyard or just in a room with the headphones on, just focus. I could get anything done if I have the right topic. But yeah, coming up with the topic is so difficult. I spend hours a day just like thinking of topics. And a lot of that's going through like every news outlet imaginable, going through every subreddit I possibly can, watching so many YouTube videos, and I'll see like, oh, these videos are getting pushed by YouTube, or you know, this is trending right now on CNBC or CNN or Reddit. And if I see these topics or something that I could talk about or that I find interesting, I'll think, how could I title this video? Once I come up with the title and a topic, then it's really getting in the zone and just planning. And that's just like, usually I need complete silence and concentration. It's one of like, any distraction, like even if the cat comes and like starts like scratching at the thing in front, it just like throws me off. And I have to be in this state of just like, nothing else, like everything else tunes out. It's just like this tunnel vision of just planning. And it's one of those, it's fun for me because it's, sometimes I don't want to say you go into like this trance because that sounds weird, but I would imagine it's similar to like meditation, where you just get in the zone and then you come out of it like 7 hours later, like, where did all the time go? And you have this amazing piece of content that then you could go and film.
When you're planning and scripting, do you have any systems in place to sort of format that and template it? Like, do you have a script template where you're like, I need to hit these things every time?
No, but I have just a general, I guess, format that I've just always kept. And maybe it's been just developed over time, but like, the first is always like what the video is about, why people should listen, and what's the significance of it. Because and I'll never make that more than 60 seconds. Like, if you can't hook people in 60 seconds, they're done.
Wow.
So I try to do the hook in 60 seconds, why it's relevant, what's going on, why is this even worth watching.
All right. Now I understand why I didn't get my scholarship from Ali Abdal's part-time YouTuber Academy, because I didn't do a hook in my video and there was no interesting editing. And I mean, I can't believe so many hours these guys spend. I mean, who's the next in line? Yeah, MKBHD. Marcus, he's amazing. These are just people that I am starting to, discover. Alex Cooper, I have no idea who she is. Van Neistat, I think he's the older brother of the more famous Casey Neistat. So much to learn. Jeff Bezos bought Twitch for almost $1 billion, $970 million. Yeah, and of course Ali Abdal with Tiago Forte. Got so much to learn, and this YouTube university is the best university out there. I wish I had started watching YouTube earlier, you know. I am 50 years old. I watched TV all my life, and I went to the movies until I believe about 10 years ago, when I got a cable TV, Digiturk it's called in Turkey, with more channels and more movies in it, and I stopped, I went to the movie theater less and less. I only started using YouTube, I think, for questions I had a few years ago, for stuff to do with technology, I guess, how to move your pictures from an iPhone when you upgrade to a new phone, or how to change the batteries or something, or how to do this in a new computer, these kind of things. And now I'm 50 years old, it's 2022, and I am just now beginning to watch YouTube. I actually just found that there's a YouTube app on the television, and of course when it's late at night and my brain is full, I prefer to watch Netflix still, or I watch some streaming movies. For movies that don't exist in Netflix, I watch them on here I show you. I go to internet, and then on internet I go to like, for example, this 702p, right? What? This guy, right? This is a website that shows you movies, right? Movies that are not on Netflix or Amazon or Apple TV, and sometimes they show the movies that are on that platform as well, but it's free. So for free of charge you can watch all these things, right? Yeah. Of course there are ads and everything, but I also do some French free streaming services. So if you have internet, this is one way to watch many things for free. Of course, it's not legal. That's why they close these websites from time to time, but a new one appears with a different IP address. So, this Disney and Pixar movie, for example, it seems interesting. I love to watch Disney and Pixar movies. Pixar movies have really incredible storytelling, like Toy Story, Finding Nemo. I'm crazy about those things. But this is how I used to spend my time. Of course, Netflix, and of course, Amazon Prime, you know. But more and more now that I discovered a few days ago this YouTube app on television, as opposed to having an HDMI cable from my laptop to the TV, it made it so easy to watch YouTube. By the way, Amazon is always slower than Netflix, man. If anybody from Amazon watches this in the future, can you please hire some of the Netflix engineers and make your website faster? Netflix comes right away, and with Amazon I have to download it a few times, and it's even the loading of the movies are much slower. But of course I watch pretty much everything on Netflix and Amazon, so that's not really my thing. So let's go back on our show.
I always go into the background of just like, here's what's led up to that. So if I talk about the stock market just hit its all-time high, people are worried about this being a big bubble. Is it too late to invest? Smash the like button. And then before that, I'll be like, okay, so here's how we got here. The stock market did this and this and this, and then here's where we are now. And then I go into the relevance of today. So here's what's happening right now. This is what so-and-so said, this is what so-and-so said, and then I go into the research behind it. I spent so long researching these topics.
See, I love researching, so research for me would be a lot of fun. I love, especially something that I'm interested in, that I'm passionate about. Or if something I am, for example, when I was buying those antique sculptures, the ones on top, look, those deers, and I did so much research. I went to British websites, to French websites. I wrote, I emailed a lot of antique dealers. And even with those lights, you know, the salt rights, these are very rare salts. I wrote to all the people that extract those salts, because those are very, very difficult to find. They're very rare. The Himalayan lamps, there's one on top of the speaker there. That's easier to find, Himalayan salt lamp. But those, the special orange and white ones are very rare. They're like a diamond in a million. So I spent maybe 3-4 years of research to find those. So yeah, I love doing research. I've never really done it for content, but I guess I'm going to learn this year and next year and try to give more intriguing content with research.
Like data, so I'm not just like, well, I think it's going to do this, and I think that I really do my best to like research these thoroughly. So, because I never want people to get upset with my videos, and my thing like years ago is like, you can never say that like Graham is wrong necessarily in a video, or you can't dislike what I say, because what I'm talking about is just like they're facts. It's like, this is data. So you like either you're disagreeing with the history and the data, or like you're wrong. So like I've always gone into it just being really analytical and just like, here's the data, here's the history. If history is an indication, here's what we think it should do. Maybe it won't, but I really try to be as balanced as possible and leave it up to the numbers. And then I'll always just end it off with, how is this relevant for you and what can you do with this information? So I'll end it off with, well, based on all this, the safest thing you could do, it's always buy and hold. Invest in index funds, but there's some with more significance of just like,
of course, research is so much more important when you're giving investing advice, right? When you're talking about how to invest your money, which houses to buy in which locations, or should you buy Bitcoin, should you buy which stocks? I mean, that's a very, very more specific and dangerous thing to do, because what if people lose their money?
Yeah, that one like stuff. It's just like you guys are really good at thumbnails.
Yeah,
I think it's a big it's an X factor when it comes to a creator, because you know you're able to back up the thumbnails with good videos and videos that are fun, entertaining, educational, and also I think what's different about your type of content is it's transformational. Like, if I actually make some money
I'm
based
going
on
to write-
watching a Graham video,
Analyze Graham Stephan.
yeah, because now I've transformed and you've changed my life, and so like that is the opportunity to do that is really interesting. But
Analyze.
you can't even do any of that if you can't get people in the door, and getting people in the door is the thumbnail.
So the thumbnail is something we probably spend the most amount of time on,
Right.
and that middle class's financially ruined thumbnail probably took us about an hour of just back and forth, and our like the tension in the air is so high when we're thinking about thumbnails like that, because we know if we miss the mark on the thumbnail, all the work is going to be for nothing. You could have the perfect title, the perfect video,
thumbnail is so
perfect
important.
editing, but if you don't have that right thumbnail, it's done.
It's
It's
like the gatekeeper to the success
It is.
of the video, and also the financial success of the video.
Yeah.
Because, like, if you're able to, like, typically YouTube will feed your video to a good amount of people, especially if you're a channel that's uploading regularly. Like, there's going to be.
I can barely hear Samir. Colin, I can hear better, but Graham Stephan, I hear him very well. So, what's the problem with the voice volume in a broadcast? That's something I should research too. Why does that happen?
Your videos have millions of impressions, right? The thumbnail has millions of impressions. Because even if a million views, if is your click-through rate around what, 7%, 10%?
Depends. First 24 hours, it's usually about 10 to 12, and then after 30 days, usually about 3 to 5.
Right. So if you think about like 3 to 5%, or let's average it at 6%. With a million views, like that's a lot of impressions.
Yeah.
That YouTube's,
Yeah.
And so if you're able to capture even an additional 1%, with a channel like yours, it's probably the difference between an additional like couple $1,000.
Yes, of course, because his channel gets the highest cost per 1,000 advertising payments because it's about finance. When your channel is about finance, you get the top dollar from YouTube. And then you got the, technology is very high as well. And then, beauty, fashion, these things are high as well. Because there are a lot of companies that advertise and they want to talk to that audience. So a bank has a huge advertising budget and they want to find people who are interested in, saving money. So finance channels. So they advertise in those channels, so that takes the CPM very high. And a vlog channel, like what I'm doing these days, I guess, doesn't deserve any money because who is the audience? There's nothing that binds the audience together. Who would watch me? I guess somebody who has nothing to do in America, in Canada, who is interested in starting a YouTube channel at 50 years old. I guess elder people are my audience. And I don't know, who are you? Tell me in the comments. How old are you? Why are you watching me? But if I was an advertiser, I wouldn't advertise in my channel. The vloggers like Casey Neistat and Emma Chamberlain, of course they have millions and millions of followers, and people advertise there like Samsung, Apple, IBM, or Bank of America, or of course they reach millions by advertising in that channel. So they would be interested, but someone who doesn't have a big audience and who does very broad content, so has a broad audience, I can't find any specific advertising budget for that, need for that.
Like easily. So that hour spent on the thumbnail is like the question of maybe $10,000 in that hour that you could make if you nail it.
That's what makes it so difficult, is because there's so much pressure on the thumbnail that sometimes I feel like that pressure almost stifles creativity, because you're so focused on not messing up that you sometimes don't take those risks you would have otherwise had you not cared.
Yeah.
But a lot of that is just like, sometimes I'll make a whole thumbnail, we'll look at it, like really tiny on the computer, and will be like, I just don't like it. I don't know, there's something about it that it doesn't hit. I'm not happy with it. Go back to the drawing board, try something else. And it's a lot of back and forth until Jack and I are like, okay, we like this. Should we try it? Well, let's have a backup just in case this doesn't work. So sometimes we'll have the main thumbnail and then we'll try a backup that might be a little bit riskier.
Oh.
But that middle class financial ruin, sometimes it's like you have to be so abstract to get people's attention out on YouTube that if they're scroll...
I think they should have shown that thumbnail in the program when they're talking about that middle class thing. I'm curious to see what it is.
Up and be like, wait, what is that? What's going on? Let me click on that. Like, you need it to be like, what? Yeah. So I really try my best to make them just like, they're a little like, they gotta be over the top, but I want people to be not confused when they see the top, but like, what's going on? Like, Jack shoving money in my face. Like, there's no way that's relevant to anything with an explosion in the bag. But it gets your it's like you're just being so creative when it comes to that. Like, how could you take this topic? It should be boring. Like, that whole video is me going over a budget and telling people how to cut back on a budget. Like, that should not be an exciting video. So to go and like, how can I transform this so that like some 20-year-old can see this and be entertained the entire way through and learn something from it?
I feel like also in terms of the thumbnail, not only is there viewership on the line and revenue on the line, but it's about personal time and energy. Like, it almost hurts more if no one watches it because you're taking stock of your own time and energy.
I would disagree. I think the biggest risk to a bad thumbnail is the performance of both the entire channel and the subsequent videos you post after that.
Man, I feel like for us, like, I look at it as like, man, so many hours went into that edit. Like, that's a difficult pill to swallow, and maybe like I guess our revenue isn't as similarly to yours. And
I don't understand why Samir and Colin spend hours and hours on edit. I mean, you film an interview, it's almost like a podcast, right? There is no special effects, After Effects, there are no text passing. What are you editing for hours and hours? I don't understand.
About like the effect on the algorithm.
Yeah,
that is tough to come back from.
I'm more worried about like that's like a bad thumbnail is like you made a bad chess move and they go and they take one of your pieces.
Oh, that's such an interesting thought that like one bad thumbnail affects the subsequent videos and the library.
Everything.
Because the library, I would assume like if you stopped uploading, if you didn't upload a single video in February, what would your library make? Do you have a sense for that? Do you have a sense for like what does your library
I almost
generate?
don't even want to think about it because I don't know.
Okay.
And I mean, I could probably throw out a guess of maybe like 60 grand, 70 grand. And that's just maybe 100, I don't know. But the worry would be that you take a month off and YouTube sees you as a creator and they're pushing your content because you're making regular uploads and because people keep coming back. If you stop that, YouTube's going to see, wait a second, so we're recommending this channel to people who are not then returning back because the content creator is not making new content. Why would we recommend this channel? If YouTube's goal is to get people to keep...
That's the horrible YouTube cycle. This is something that I guess YouTube artificial intelligence, YouTube algorithm should maybe itself understand and work on. I mean, don't the creators have a right to take a month off, have a holiday? Every job has a holiday. So that's crazy. I mean, it's like you're in a rat thing that you can't stop producing and creating because if you stop, YouTube will punish you. Interesting. Not that I don't think I will ever get to that point, but you know, it's just fun to watch, I guess, and just talk about it. It's always easier to talk about these things than doing anything yourself.
Platform, they would be much more likely to recommend a channel who's uploading consistently.
Yeah.
Because that keeps people returning back. All of my current subscribers wouldn't see one of my videos unless YouTube recommends them. And they can only recommend so many videos before you've just seen them all or until they're not relevant anymore. So without uploading, I think it's going to be impossible to grow. Like YouTube's not going to recommend your channel. So that's why I keep uploading consistently. I don't want to miss an upload
That's why I guess when successful YouTubers like Graham Stephan, when they die, for the first few months, you know, YouTube will still mail checks to them because it will still show their content, and because their content is evergreen for most of them, people will still watch it. But in time, those checks will no longer be sent because YouTube will stop promoting that channel because the creator will be dead, and that people usually don't push out anymore any new contents. However, if you're not showing your face, let's say that your wife, without showing her face, does some videos and you have learned from her how to do it. After she's dead, you could theoretically continue to make videos, and the YouTube algorithm will not know that it's not you, that it's not the creator, but it's a new creator coming up with that content. So I guess Google will keep on sending you the checks. However, if those checks are in your wife's name, can you cash them in the bank after she's dead? I don't think so. You may have to contact Google and request a change of channel owner or something. Just a thought, soup for thought.
I think there's a week where I didn't post. I think, yeah, like 3 weeks ago. That's just because, I don't know what happened, but the algorithm just went crazy on my channel. And just all these videos got recommended. And I tested so many times that sometimes when your videos are getting pushed, when you post a new video, it will reduce the views on the...
If the algorithm were a Turkish or a Mexican government official or a police, you would just give $50 in the pocket of the algorithm and say, come on, yeah, make me popular this month, you know, this is for you, my friend, you know, and the algorithm would be like, all right, thank you, you will be popular this month, YouTube will go crazy about your content.
While YouTube focuses on that new video, because they want to push the newest content. So sometimes purposely I've been like, okay, all these other videos are doing well, I'm going to purposely not post today. Let those videos breathe a little bit, and then I'm going to come back to it.
Wow, that's
interesting.
Unless you know. Like, if I'm unsure of a topic and I'm like, I don't know if this is going to be quite up to par, I'm going to wait to post it. And then I'm going to post it when I know the next video is. Just in case this topic doesn't hit it off, my next video will. And so I know that whatever I lose on this one video, I'm going to make back with the next one.
Alright, at this point I have a brain freeze. Oh, I just want to watch some more relaxing stuff. I want to watch James Bond movies on illegal channels. Allegedly, I'm not saying I will, in case FBI is watching this, so I'll see ya when I see ya, and I love ya. Bye!